I want you to imagine this, opening up your podcast app and seeing your podcast. Yeah, wouldn't that be exciting? It would be an amazing feeling to see your face, your podcast art tile right there. Your voice is out into the world. I want you to experience that too. If your dream has been to start a podcast in 2023, I have an opportunity for you. I'm starting a podcast bootcamp from idea to launch on February 1st. The cart is open starting January 2nd through January 23rd. And I'm inviting you to come and join us and a hand-picked group of people who want to launch their podcast in 2023 and expand and experience what it's like to reach more people through the power of podcasting. If this is you, I want you to sign up today. There are limited opportunities in the small bootcamp group coaching course. So go ahead, sign up on the form below. I'll post a link in the show notes. And I look forward to hearing your heart, your vision, and your purpose for this upcoming podcast. Welcome to Wholistic Podcasting. I'm your host and producer, Kristin Chadwick. After being in the podcast industry since 2016, I am determined to inspire you to start, grow, and maintain your podcast through a holistic approach. If you're an entrepreneur, coach, author, or leader, you need a podcast. And friend, I'm here for you as an experienced podcast coach for over 6 years, working with numerous top podcasts and hosts. Your voice needs to be heard and your story needs to be known. Through Wholistic Podcasting, you will learn how to market your business coming from an aligned and centered place and through intentional strategy. Thanks for listening to the show. Here we go. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Wholistic Podcasting, podcast coaching for the female entrepreneur. I am Kristin Chadwick, your host, and I just want to welcome you into 2023. I don't know about you guys, but I am absolutely stoked for what 2023 has in store. I'm ready. I did a lot of hard work in 2022, and I just feel very hopeful and expectant. And I loan you that belief too. If you're struggling to have that hope, you can borrow mine. And I know for a fact that if you invest in time in coming into this podcast, listening on the weekly, and really diving into creating a podcast for yourself that is able to launch your voice into this world, you're going to see the benefits of that. And I wanted to take today is Monday. I don't typically put things out on Monday. It is January 2nd, and I think that I wanted to make this shift onto a Monday because I was publishing on a Friday. And I really was sensing people need to hear this at the beginning of the week. And this is just an example of things are constantly shifting, and you reevaluate, you take action. And so I am switching this podcast to launch on Mondays from here on out in 2023. I really just felt like that's probably the best move for me personally, as I am gearing up to have a bigger work capacity load. And also, it's just people love to listen to podcasts on Monday. I do get this question a lot of what's the best day to upload a podcast. And really, it matters as far as your schedule and also your ideal listener. And my ideal listener is the life coach. It's the entrepreneur that is ready to get the ball rolling on Mondays. And Mondays, from what I know as a coach, is typically the days that people kind of prep plan for the week. There's not a lot of engagement with actual clients. Usually that's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And so I wanted to make sure that this was out there on a Monday so that you could listen, you could feed your bucket and go through your week with an idea, a plan, some encouragement for the week. So there's that. I wanted to make sure that I put an episode out there today on January 2nd, just so you know where we as Wholistic Podcasting are headed. Now, maybe this is the first time that you've listened. Maybe you don't even know my story. Maybe you're coming back and you're listening to the first episode of 2023. And to you, I say hello, and you'll probably hear more of a backstory. If you go back to the first few episodes, 1, 2, and 3, I really share my background, my story, why I started Wholistic Podcasting. I have been in the industry since 2016 in various roles. I've been a podcast producer. I've been a content creator. I have been the networker, the scheduler, the speaker liaison. I have been the editor, the copywriter. I've done all of the roles, including hosting multiple podcasts. My other podcast is called Wholistic Hearts. As you can hear, there is a theme on holistic. So what does holistic mean? It actually means all of the parts matter. And my background is I am a life coach at heart. And I want to encourage you to align yourself with everything that you're doing. When you work with a life coach, maybe they'll give you a life wheel, right? And there's spiritual, there's emotional, physical wellness, there's business, there's family, personal growth, all of those things. And for me, if you listen to me in this podcast, as we move forward through the year, you will hear the flavor of a life coach coaching you as a podcaster to align yourselves and to really be wholehearted. We have to take care of ourselves in order to put ourselves out there and use our voice. And I will tell you that depth matters. The more that you put in your heart work, the more that it's going to come out in your voice, in your tone, and how you present yourself as a podcaster. So, all right, where are we headed in 2023? I love what I'm seeing for 2023. There are quite a few opportunities, especially in the podcasting space, that continues to bring more opportunities for people to put their podcast out there. I love to serve podcasters. There's kind of 3 buckets that we do around here. So number 1 is I help future podcasters launch and start their podcast. So what that looks like is there are opportunities to work with me one-on-one, or starting the 1st of February, and the opening starts today, Monday the 2nd, is to sign up to be a part of a group launch. So what that means is you would work with me for about 9 weeks is the program, and we're going to meet weekly as a group in a community of 10 or maybe 1 or 2 more, depending. And we are going to launch a podcast together. So that means I'm going to guide you step by step weekly through actionable steps to get your podcast off the ground and up to episode 1. Okay. So that means if you want to start a podcast in Q1, now is the time to sign up. There's very few spots or opportunities to join that group, and that will be starting February 1st. The other way that you can work with us, when I say us, I have a team. I am not alone. I'm number 1 advocate in delegating and having people that thrive off the things that maybe you do well on, but somebody else could do it better. So the second way that you can work with me is through another course that I'm going to be launching in March. And that one is for current podcasters who want to grow and leverage their podcast to create a course, to expand their reach, to grow their audience, to monetize a product, all of those things. That's going to be covered in that 8-week program as well. All right. So those are the two first ways that you can work with me through the podcast bootcamp from idea to launch. That's the first course if you're wanting to launch a podcast. If you are already a podcaster, you can sign up to be in my second group in March, which is going to be Podcast Bootcamp Growth and Monetization. So that'll be my second option for you. The other way that keeps this all running is I help podcasters manage their podcast. So we do everything from editing to writing show notes to social media to coaching. And what that includes is podcast content planning, podcast auditing. So that is the business side of holistic podcasting. That is working with me, my team, and getting you to a place where you don't have to worry about the editing. You don't have to worry about publishing, all of those things. That is a core part of our business here. And we will continue to do that and continue to serve top podcasters. You guys, we have the most incredible powerhouse women that we get to help promote, edit, launch, be a vessel for them to use their voice out into this world and make a difference and make an impact on lives, whether it's in network marketing, whether it's life coaching, whether it's kingdom life coaching. I seriously, every time I sit down and I am a believer, you'll hear that in my conversations in these podcasts as we move through 2023. I genuinely sit down and pray for every single one of my clients on a weekly, if not daily basis. So I take it seriously that you have invested your time, your money in investing in our business to help you keep your energy where you're called to be. And it's such an honor. There are so many clients that have impacted us, as well as we are just an opportunity for them to get their voice out into this world. So, okay, those are the main things that are holding all of this together, the holistic podcasting. It is a joy to sit here and coach future podcasters and podcasters alike. And so I just want to say thank you for listening this last year. It was my first year as a holistic podcasting podcast, and I've learned a ton, and I'm excited to dive deeper. One of the areas that we're going to be focusing on is really the foundation of building a podcast. That was a big listen and download numbers last year. And if you listen to my episode, a couple of episodes before, I really talked about going back and reflecting on your top downloads. And the top downloads, you guys, were things like start with your why and memberships. And what does that look like as a podcaster? Let's see, how to conduct a great interview, how to get on other episodes. So those are the things that I'll continue to talk about, and it will be a privilege to do that. So keep listening. If you have questions like, how do I start a podcast? What equipment do I need? How do I grow my podcast? How do I plan podcast content? How do I funnel my podcast listeners? And sprinkled in throughout the year, there will be interviews with, like my former, employer, Ryan Dobson, who really trained me on how to be a podcast producer. We have an amazing interview where we talk about all things podcasting and what he has seen over the beginning of podcasting till now and what's been helpful. There's going to be so many great interviews. There's an interview about using your voice, like the physical aspect of using your voice and how to posture yourself and how to present yourself well and to really actually physically use your voice. You'll hear me say this over and over again, that your voice matters. And that interview will be such a gift because I get a voice specialist on here and she's going to be talking about how to do that well. Another one is a fellow podcast coach, extraordinaire, Adam Shalbley. Excuse me. I always say his name wrong. Shably. Anyway, the Podcast Business School. He's coming on to share about the SEO of podcasting. So there's a lot of beautiful interviews and a lot of podcast coaching that's going to be going on. And so I'm excited for how we are going to shoot off and really take off and launch our podcast. We're going to grow our podcast in 2023. And as always, I'd love to hear from you. Come find me on social media. Instagram is mainly where I'm at. I do have a free Facebook group where you can ask and interact in there as well. Man, I'm just really stoked. And again, next week, be listening to the Find Your Why. We're going to really dig into why you want to start a podcast. And this is going to be helpful for all of those that are starting a podcast in 2023. All right. I think that's it. I'm going to go and hang out with my kids. We're going to go shopping with their Christmas money and return a pack of socks that was supposed to be 3-pack, but there was only 2. So anyway, all right. Take care, you guys, and I will see you next week. Thanks for listening to Wholistic Podcasting. I want you to know that I truly value every listen. To show my appreciation, I offer a one-on-one free podcast consultation call. Whether you're wanting to start a podcast or you're ready to take your podcast to a whole nother level, come sign up. The link is below down in the show notes. Have a great day.